So where are we now? Again, we're just short of dead stop. I'm gonna see if I can really get a couple more slides in here. Talking about underwriting standards, how they're eased during this period of time, going from 2003 to 2006, easing underwriting standards. It's all part of this. Level of credit risk. We'll talk about that just a second. So where are we? We're about just about a dead stop. The commercial real estate industry is currently experiencing difficulty, again, for the reasons we just talked about. Increasing, shouldn't change that back. That's right. Increasing vacancy rates, falling rents, unemployment. People can't have these storefronts anymore. Business going out. The resulting decreased cash flow will make the borrower's ability to make the mortgage payments more and more difficult. High loan-to-value ratios make it harder to refinance. Banks will require cash call. We just talked about the retail center that's over $12.5 million. It's worth $8 million in 2011. It'll require a $5 million cash call to refinance it. Not necessarily typical, but things are happening like that. A significant amount of commercial real estate loans were based upon weakened standards or rental or cash flow projections that were attainable only under bubble conditions. Now today, when you go apply for a commercial loan, can you use pro forma income for the bank? No, obviously. Then you could, and they'd want to do those loans, give you interest, someone would give it away at that particular time. So we're still in a slowdown mode. Sales of commercial properties are off over 80%. There's nothing to substantiate that inflationary trend that took place in 2006. We're in a recession. There's unemployment. Last month, the government, I believe, announced that they had created 436,000 new jobs. However, about 400,000 of those are temporary part-time jobs as census takers. So when are they going to hit the unemployment rolls again? I was at a party last night, a graduation party, and I was talking to a couple who live in Tampa, and they have a small business, and it's basically involved with furnishing, home furnishings in home industry, and their business is obviously off. So they had to supplement their income, so they're out there working with census takers. They found teachers, real estate brokers, and lawyers. Lawyers, census takers. Now I can't recall, but there's got to be a joke in there somewhere about lawyers taking census. There's got to be somewhere. So we're used to the government bailouts. We're beginning to get used to the vacancy rates, increased demand for real estate, rapidly increasing cap rates, and falling rents. So where we're going to go, the health of the commercial real estate industry depends upon the health of the overall economy. Consequently, the market fundamentals will likely stay weak for the foreseeable future. I've heard indications, estimates that maybe by the end of 2012 we may see a bottoming out effect. That's up to negotiation. I've heard different things, and I've heard also we're not going to see the end of it till 2020. That's 10 years from now. Now there are factors that could help stimulate that, but that's kind of what we're looking at estimates on. That's the kind of future things right now. Banks are feeling it. We're feeling it. Now economic growth has returned slightly. There's an increase in the GDP. I can't even turn on that slide because it's not going to work right now. But that's tempered by unemployment. That's the health of the economy. We have to have employment. We have to have people working. That's the basis of it. Without that, it's not going to happen. In summary, the current average vacancy rates and rental prices have been buffered somewhat by long-term leases that were held by major corporations, granted back in 05, 06, 07, Class A properties, negotiated long-term leases, and those leases are still in effect, maybe 5, sometimes as much as 10 years. But when those start falling out, that's going to greatly increase the amount of space available. Now, typically, Class A properties are going to be the ones that are going to rent up first again. Class B and C are going to kind of fall behind in succession. As I mentioned, it's 2 to 3 years before the beginning of recovery, maybe as long as 2020. in coming at us faster than you think, but maybe it resembles a slow motion train wreck, something you can't avoid. But because of all these problems with underwriting standards and granting loans that were faulty, there's a huge tsunami of properties that we're gonna see falling due into bad loans, into debt and default in 2011. Estimated somewhere between 1.4 and 2 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars worth of commercial loans that will be in default. Who knows what a trillion is? 12, there's a lot of zeros, I guess. Anyways, it's a number that's probably slightly larger than the number of Rush Limbaugh's ex-wives. Real Rush on honeymoon. Rush, what, 59 years old and married girl's 33? It's good.
She's mature.
Yeah, exactly. I'll find you. As mentioned, banks are calling it cash flow to refinance. Owners don't have the cash available. Estimate over 40% currently of loans upside down. However, Deutsche Bank estimated that borrowers that are going to have trouble rolling over as many as 75% of the loans, that's 3 out of every 4 loans that are granted, are probably not going to be rolled over. So there's going to be some opportunities, some buying opportunities coming forth. Banks are going to be overwhelmed with properties. Now, why buy a property that's income debt? An income property doesn't have any tenants. Okay. Now, in closing, I'd like to ask one question, and that is, it's a question that's been asked several times, but at what price point would you pay for a property that is income debt, outside of being owner occupied? What price would you pay for a property that is income debt? Replacement costs, reproduction costs, land costs? A property that doesn't have any tenants, that needs tenants, needs maintenance, needs management. What would you pay for a property like that? Now that question is, you're gonna be faced with that situation come up. There's a lot of properties like that. They're gonna be coming forth. Where's the value? There is a value somewhere. What is that number that you would pay for that property without income? Thank you very much for listening to me this afternoon.